John, the first game is taking place between Lockmore Castleiney and Mull Rovers on this coming Sunday, 1 p.m, Leahy Park, Cashel. It's part of the double header.
Yeah, Stevie, that's the first part of a double header, and you know it's great to see the semi-finals out at these rural venues, where they were a few years ago as well. And I think there should be a good crowd there on Sunday. And if we don't get a crowd in Cashel, you're not going to get it anywhere. But look at Lockmore and Mull Rovers. Mull Rovers champions in 2018. Lockmore last champions in 2021. We're in the same group, Group 3 in the championship, group of 6 there, but didn't play one another. Last year, Mull Rovers beat them in the quarter final by a point. Which after Mull Rovers making a late sort of a surge halfway through the championship, 110 to 12 points there, and then in 2022 both of them were defeated in the semi-finals. Lockmore by the minimum again by Upperchurch, and Mull Rovers convincingly by Commercial. So that's their sort of over the last 2 years how they fared. They as I said, Lockmore, were in a group with, they played Kilsheelan in round 1, beaten by 6 points, drew with Commercials in the second group game, and here in Dundrum in the round 3 there they defeated Arravale Rovers. They then went on to defeat their mid-counterparts there, JK Brackens, in the quarter-final there 2 weeks ago. And they find themselves now up against Mile on Sunday, who defeated Ballyporeen in round 1. They got a walk over from Kilsheelan in round 2, and they defeated Commercials there. Nice comprehensive beating to Commercials there in round 3 before taking on Arravale Rovers there, and I think they had a 14 points to 5 victory over them in the quarter final there 2 weeks ago.
What kind of game are you expecting?
Look what I'm expecting, a very, very tight, close game, and I think...
Low scoring?
Average scoring, I'd say now. It's like...
112, 113, 114?
That'd be, I'd say, the max now. They haven't... Lockmore, you see, it's very hard to wear down that Lockmore defence. You know what I mean? If you score 112 against Lockmore, I think you're doing fairly well, like, in a championship semi-final. They have, talented forwards. Mull Rovers have. Both sides actually have it. They have the McGraths of Lockmore there. Tommy, we got the goal there against Kilsheelan early on. Liam Tracy is back. That's a big plus in the middle of the field for Lockmore. Go back to Mull Rovers. You have the Bolans. You have O'Sullivan there in it. You have Dean English, who will take watching. I think he's got 4 goals so far this year. Like a very, very, very talented forward there. It's going to be a very, very hard one to call now. Lockmore are safely into the hurling final 2 weeks' time. They will be giving it all this week for the preparation for the football. But I think the way Mull Rovers are going this year, I have a slight inkling towards Mull Rovers getting over the line on Sunday, Stevie.
Okay, the next semi-final, if I could go over to Michael for this one, is Clonmel Commercials and Kilsheelan Kilcash is part of the double header, as we said earlier, Michael.
Yeah, it certainly is, and Stevie, I concur with John. It's great to see this as a double header in Cashel on Sunday. Like Cashel, obviously a great venue, has hosted semi-finals before with great crowds, and look, I suppose it's
a great atmosphere.
A great atmosphere, it certainly is, and the work they're after doing to the pitch and the pitch surrounds over there. It is a credit to the club over there, and it's a good occasion, double header, which the football board had been looking for. I'd say was double headers in the senior football, and that's what they're getting. But I suppose onto the game, 2 sides that would know each other very well, not far away from each other, down south neighbours. Commercials, of course, the aristocrats of Tipperary football. Kilsheelan, who maybe a flatter to deceive with all the talent they've had over a few years, but I actually think this will be a very good game of football, Stevie. There's seriously talented lads on both sides. Now Seamus Kennedy is a huge loss to Commercials, as is James Morris, but I suppose Kendi's leadership, the fact that he would normally hold the number 6 role and just such a strong player, but I suppose interestingly, the last day in the quarter final, it was Michael Quinlivan that played at centre back, and like that's a huge plus.
Unusual position
An
for
unusual
Michael.
position for Michael, but like obviously the talent that he has, and I suppose the role would suit him. He probably sits a bit deep, and he can attack when needed, and the experience he has that in buckets obviously. But like it's a huge, I suppose, coup for the Commercials that he's back playing for them and in such a pivotal role. But I mean, Commercials they have names that drop off any that you could put on any team all around the field. You have the Kindies, you have Peter McGarry, Keane Smith, who is a young player that has really come to the fore of late. Yeah, and they of course would say won the 21A football last year, so they have a lot of those guys that are pushing hard for starting places. Kilsheelan then, like Mark Yo got 5 points from centre forward there in the quarter final. They have Jamie Roach at full forward scored 1-2, and of course they have the experienced Evan Comerford in the goal. He was able to come up and kick 2 points, but I mean, I suppose everything that he brings to the play from coming out, he's one of the modern goalkeepers that can come out and join into the play, create overlaps, and
he's like an extra defender.
Yeah, a very confident player. Of course, loads of experience. Must have been in the goal for Tipp for 8 or 9 years or more, maybe at this stage. And of course, played for Commercials at one stage in his underage career as well. So there is that little bit of rivalry there. But I think it'll be a very good game. I think there'll be scoring in it. If you look at the scoring of both teams, it's 216, 15, 212 and 112 for Commercials. 10 points in their only loss, Kilsheelan against Ardfinnan the first day, but then 113, 212 and 213 in the three games since. So both teams are able to put the ball over the bar and in the back of the net. I suppose Commercials you probably can't look past, but I do expect that Kilsheelan will give them a torrid time.
Michael, well, I have you. The Intermediate Football Championship semi-final. We have Golden Kilfeacle taking on their near neighbours, Galtee Rovers St. Pecan.
Yeah, a real West rivalry, this one. And
now, if there was ever a hard one to call, Michael, I'm putting you on the spot.
You are. I might sit on the fence on this one, Stevie, whenever there's hard questions to be asked. But this, of course, is the West Senior Football Final as well, which has to be played. Galtee and Golden. Galtee, they topped their group. They were in a group of 4. They went straight to a semi-final, so they haven't played a game of football in about 4 weeks, a competitive game of football in about 4 weeks. They only got 2 games in their round robin. They got a walkover the first day, and then they had 2, I suppose, easy enough victories: 2 15-10 over mine, and 2 22-3 over Mycarkey in their last game. So that probably wasn't as competitive as they would have liked. I suppose I'm talking Galtee Rovers up all year on this podcast. I think they have an exceptional bunch of young players coming through. They have gone about
talent really from the under-19s a couple of years ago and under 17s.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, they've counties at 17 and 19 there over the last couple of years. Those guys are all part of the panel. They're adding huge, I suppose, experience, not experience, but enthusiasm to the line out. And look, it's
and they're not short of confidence.
They are not, no, and they've done well. And I mean, that confidence is warranted. They haven't been beaten. They've won 2 games in the West Championship. They've won any games that have been put in front of them in the county championship. They're back in a county semi-final for the second year in a row. Probably would have been disappointed with the way they performed against Grange Mokler last year, 212 to 1-7 I think it finished, but Grange Mokler then went on to win the title and went up, so it's Galtee, they're an exciting team. They will be coming up against the experience of Golden. Golden have been knocking around this grade for a long time, last in the final I think in 18. They were in a semi-final 2 years ago. They had 2 wins to start off the campaign over Thurles Sarsfields and Feathers, 4-12 to 1-6 against the Sars, and then a hard-fought 15-14 over a talented Feather team in round 2. They did lose to Rockwell in round 3, which was, I think, maybe a little bit of a surprise considering the way they were going. That window put Rockwell into the semi-finals. So Golden have, as we said, a lot of talent. They have Jack Leamy, they have Ben Corvin, they have Sam Hall on real good form in up front for them. He's got a number of goals over the course of the championship.
And a guy that loves his football.
He certainly does. And then they have the like at the back, I suppose similar to their hurling team, a lot of experience in the back. Tough guys, the O'Connells, Dahi Bargary, Jack Corvin in the goal as well, an experienced lad around this. So I expect this to be a very good game. I think Galtee might be rusty starting off, but their young legs towards the end of it might come to the fore. But it's probably a disadvantage to them that they haven't had a really competitive game this year. So, and Golden are battle hardened from their hurling and football exploits so far. I suppose if you're to put me to pin on my collar, I've been plugging Galtee all year, but if Golden come out on the right side of this, that wouldn't be a surprise either.
Yeah, I think it's going to be 50-50. John, I'm going to go over to you for the other semi-final. It's Arravale taking on Rockwell Rovers. Now, it just goes to show the standard of football may be improving in the West when you have 4 teams from the West competing, and again at semi-finals.
Yeah, but we must remember that Rockwell went down last year from senior. Arravale 2 years before that, so I mean they would
kind of
expected, like, and I was expecting probably 3 of them to get through to the quarterfinals, but I didn't to the semi-finals, but I wasn't expecting 4 to get through. But anyway, look at that semi-final is on tomorrow, Saturday, Son Tracy Park, 1 o'clock. Arravale, they were in a group of 3, defeated Commercials in round 1, defeated Éire and County in round 2, and then they qualified in top spot out of that group. But as they were in that group there, group 3 there, it was a quarter-final spot for the top, as was Rockwell Rovers. Rockwell now, Mike said there, they defeated Golden in their final round game, and that put them top of that group there. They're facing up now to one another, as I said. Look at, when you boil it down, Arravale were defeated finalists last year by Grange Mochler after a replay down in Ardfinnan. Probably felt on both occasions that they may have left it behind them. They did have their chances throughout, but they didn't. But they're back again this year.
I think there's real hunger in this Arravale squad.
There is, and of course then the big thing is Barry Grogan is still firing on all cylinders, like, and he is their main. He's the get-to-go guy for scores, both from play and place balls. Mark Russell in the middle of the field is having a real good season there, following on. I suppose he brought the club what he had there at the county when he was making a lot of impact substitutions there for the county during the league and stuff. He's a tower around the middle of the park there. You have Ben Carey, lovely footballer. You have Stephen Carey, Michal McElligott now, or Michal Elligott, I should say. He's able to slip in there with a goal and a pint, and he's getting vital scores. Ty Carew as well. So look at. They are certainly going to be up for it, because, as I said, they felt last year and they would like to get back into a final. What about Rockwell Rovers? They were disappointed last year to be relegated after being up. They had won the Tom Cusack the year before.
But yet it didn't do them any harm.
It didn't, but they went down to Arravale last year by a goal in the last day of 110 to 10 points. And that hurt me a bit, but like, they came back this year. Now, I didn't think early on at the start of the year that they were going as well as they were last year, and that they had a bit of a topsy-turvy county league. West Championship didn't fire that well in Gortnahoe Cup, but they came out in the Championship, and when it matters, they're spending an awful lot still on Alan Maloney. Really relying a lot on him.
TJ with Barry Grogan.
Yes, TJ Ryan. Again, can get in there for the scores. Aidan Barron, Robert O'Donnell is still there. Liam Fahey, but then they have some young lads. Jack O'Kelly is an exciting prospect there. There is a Tobin in the middle of the field, or around the middle. Like these guys. But I think when it'll all boil down on tomorrow evening, I would have sort of a sneaking suspicion that Arravale just might shade it and we get back into another final. But as Mike said in the other one, there's 4 teams from West Tipperary, and we know there's going to be 2 in the final, and to be a good man that'll really, really put his house on either semi-finals.
Tom Cusack Cup final, Kilsheelan and Ballyporeen. This is another difficult one to call because let's be fair, there's very little really left for both teams.
Look at the Tom Cusack is a team for clubs that don't reach the knockout stages of it. Now, both of them, funny enough, were in that famous group of 6. Kilsheelan met them in that thing, and they got over the line. That was in round 3. So they're up again at here.
But how will both teams approach this game?
Well, you see, they approached the semi-final there. Was who would it? Ballyporeen, they defeated Grange Mochler in the semi-final and defeated them well. What was it? 20 points to 113. The Sweeneys, Dara Brennan. I saw them playing against. I actually saw them playing against Mile Rovers in the first round. I saw them playing against Arravale Rovers in round 3. Arravale got over the line on that occasion as well. But look at Kilsheelan then got over. They beat out Finnan in the semi-final. Which you have the Paddy Codd, you have the Feehans, Michael Doyle, all these guys now. And I would say that Kilsheelan, you see, they're definitely up for it. They're gone out of the hurling. It's the last chance to win a bit of silverware. They're definitely up for it. And I think if they come out, I think Kilsheelan will probably get over the line then, Stevie.
Okay, I'm going to go back to Michael, and briefly, Michael, we're going to have a look at the Premier Junior Football, Castell King Comics, JK Brackens, and then we'll continue at junior level.
Yeah, Stevie, so the first semi-final there of the Premier Junior is on here in Dundrum on Saturday at 2 o'clock. Cashel.
Sorry, Michael, interrupting you. It's gone out of Dundrum.
Oh.
It's gone out of Dundrum tomorrow. I think it's gone to Drumbayan. It's gone to Drumbayan, I think. But it's definitely not in Dundrum.
Okay, so there is going to be, yeah.
Okay.
All
Apologies for that, I hadn't seen that. But yeah, so Cashel topped their group, Stevie. They had 3 wins, one by walkover, and they had 2 good wins over Father Sheehy's and Lochmore. JK Brackens are their opposition on Saturday. They lost to Mile Rovers second team in round 1, 113 to 110, and then they had I suppose maybe a little bit of surprising victory over Clonmel in round 2, who were just down from intermediate, 112 to 111 there, that qualified them second place in their group to Mile Rovers. Look, this game now, I'm not sure it's going to be top of the important list for Cashel in the next 2 weeks.
Well, that's my point, because they have a county Premier Intermediate Holland final coming up.
So look, obviously there will be guys in Cashel that that I suppose would love to play in a county football final, and they will be going all out for it. But I would imagine that anyone that's carrying any knocks or anything like that won't be risked. Probably, won't be risked this weekend, and I suppose understandably with such an important game coming up the following week for their hurlers. I think if Cashel had a full team and we're going strong at this, they should have too much for Bracken's second team, of course. But
the hurling final kind of changes all of that.
I think it does. Now, at the same time, there's a lot of talented guys in Cashel. They do have Gerard Slattery in the goal, who has won All Ireland minor final, like a very, very good goalkeeper. I'm not sure whether they would chance playing Devon Ryan, but Devon has a huge footballing background. Excellent footballer with underage with Tipp, and I would have seen Ger Brown over a number of years playing.
But I don't think, Michael, that we're going to see them being. It's hard to see it, isn't it?
It is hard to see it. I suppose, especially when Ger was carrying that knock, and they won't be risking any other injuries ahead of the hurling final. Again, I don't know much, I have to say, about Bracken's second team. They did lose to Mile Rovers, and they got over the line against Clonmel. So I suppose they're gone out of the senior football, so these guys are probably training on their own now. they did have a third team, but they were knocked out of the mid. So look, it's a hard one to call, Stevie. I think it would be great if Cashel could get to the final of it. They are representing Tipp in Munster, so it would be a huge boost to them. And look, there is probably people in Cashel there saying a double hurling and football county final wins would be huge for the town.
Of course it was. And Michael, just while we're on it, I'll let you continue then. Very briefly, Borlahandwala will be taking on Kilsheelan in the Junior A Football Championship.
Yeah, Stevie, this game is in Templemore on Saturday at 5 o'clock. Borlahan actually have two games on Saturday. So this is the Junior A, they're playing Kilsheelan. Borlahan beat Shannon Rovers 9 points to 1-4 in a not high scoring game in the quarter final. And Kilsheelan beat Clonakilty 114 to 12. I think I said on the last football podcast we did, Steve, that if Kilsheelan go out to play football, that they won't be beaten in this championship, and I don't think they will be beaten on Saturday. They're missing a good number of players, but I think they will be. I think they'll be hard bet in the whole championship.
Okay, Michael, and we'll also wish the very best of luck in the Junior B Football Championship. Borlahandwala, they're taking on Burgess, and Tullis Gales will be taking on Ballinair. But Michael, what about the Under-19 B Football, the semi-final then? And it's Clonmel, they're taking on Arravale Rovers, and all we can do is only wish both teams the very best of luck. It's very hard to predict the winner out of this again.
It is, I suppose, because we don't know too much about Clonmel, Stevie. But the Rovers, they had good wins over Kickham's in the semi-final, and they were Tracy's in the final of the West, 4-10 to 4-6 over Kickham's, and 2-16, a very good 2-16 to 11 point victory over Air Oak Tracy's to complete a West Under-19 B double with the hurling and football. I suppose the Rovers will have been disappointed not to have put up, not to have toppled Kilsheelan in the 19B hurling final last week, but their attention will turn to football now. Clonmel, they beat Rockwell Down Gales in the final of the South 4-9 to 115, and in the semi-final they beat St. Pat's 7-8 to 4-7, Stevie. So I suppose goal scoring is obviously something that Clonmel Og go after. So I suppose the Rovers will just have to be on guard for that. But I think this is a very talented under-19 team that the Rovers have. It is there is quite a number of young players on it as well, but they do have they're an excellent team, and I think they'll be hard bet on Saturday.
Okay, with that I'm going to go back to John, and again John, there's very little we can go on when it comes to the junior football, I suppose, really, but you have Lockmore Castlelany taking on Mal Rovers, and that is in the Premier. Yeah,
that's here in Dundrum, still at the same time, 3:45 in Lockmore or in Dundrum tomorrow. We know that Cashel are already representing Tipperary in the Munster Championship, so it's a title that's up for grabs here as well. You know, the 2 second teams there. Mile Rovers there, they lost Richard Power, Michael O'Reilly and Dermot Foley from their initial starting 15. They lost them to the seniors in the respective championship. So that will certainly weaken, because as your three best players are gone, you're certainly going to weaken it. Now, Lockmore lost, Philip O'Connell was one and Darragh McCaughey was another. They lost him to the seniors, but they're still fairly respectable. They have Micheál McGrath who captains side, Ed Connolly, Cian Hennessy. I'd be expecting Lockmore. I saw them playing their round 3 game against, who was it? Father Sheehy's down in New Inn that Friday evening long ago there, and I would be expecting Lockmore there to advance to the final in that, Stevie.
Okay, the Junior A Football Championship, you have Kickham's taking on St. Patrick's briefly, John.
Look at Kickham's there, came through the West. They defeated Arravale Rovers back there, about 3 weeks ago or 2.5 weeks ago there. They played then Ballaluby in the quarter final last weekend. That was postponed from the weekend before. 3-4 to 9 points, not really, as Mike said, the other one there was low scoring, but we have to take into conditions last weekend into consideration that Kickham's are well able to play football. They were a bit ring rusty in that West final against Arravale Rovers. Took them a while to get going, but they did, but their shooting was a bit off on that. They will have to be on the ball, because look at, if we take it that St. Patrick's there, they gave Ballaluby a good old trimming enough in the South final. So look, at Kilkenny would have to be at their best, but I think what we have seen so far this year, they will go in underdogs into that semi-final, and I'd expect St. Patrick's maybe to get over the line, because they're a very industrious club. St. Patrick's down there, involved in a lot of the final shake-ups in the South so far this year, and I think they'd love to get back into a county final, so they would.
Okay, John, we're also going to wish the very best of luck to Arravale and Grangemokler, and that's Grangemokler Ballyneal, along with Rose Green and Clonmel Commercials in the Junior B Football Championship. So we wish both teams the very best of luck. But Michael, if I could just wrap it up with yourself, the Masters hurling, it's very interesting, I suppose, as we often say when games are tight, but for Tipperary it's 3 from 3.
It's 4 from 4 actually. 4 from 4.
Yeah,
they beat Limerick there last weekend. Their first home game in Borrisoleigh last Saturday.
What can we read into those results, Michael?
I suppose, look, there's a lot of talent on the Tipp team, as opposed to the other teams. Like nearly everyone that plays for Tipp has inter-county experience at senior level. There is a couple, of course, Paddy Julian from Capawhite, Nigel Kenny from Gortnahoe, to name two, Sean Quirk from Silvermines, who wouldn't have played senior hurling for Tipp. But like when you can call on the likes of Lar Corbett, and he's playing in the middle of the field, and he has 1-2 got after 5 minutes because he's just exceptional running around the place. And Limerick don't have that. Limerick didn't have that in their locker. I don't know how they.
It's interesting as well, Michael, to see that some of the big names of the past with Limerick are not there.
That's right. They had no. I didn't know of any of their team as having played senior hurling for Limerick in the past, and previously I didn't know of any of the Cork players that had played senior hurling.
So then we have to question the fact that, is there an interest in it with other counties?
Look, this is the first year of the hurling coming back, Stevie, and look, I would imagine there is players in counties now around the place and seeing the crack that the Tipp lads are having, and other counties, and thinking, geez, I wouldn't mind a go at that. And I think that's what will happen. This is only the first year of it back. Yes, Tipp are playing well, but at the same time they haven't played Wexford yet. That's their next game. Wexford do have quite a number of ex-senior hurlers playing in it, and have been going quite well. They actually play Galway in their round 4 game next Monday night in Borrisoleigh, so that'll be an interesting game. Should Wexford win that, I think that is Wexford versus Tipp in the All Ireland final, regardless of the round 5 game. So yeah, look, Tipp are going very well. Obviously, Redzer O'Grady is the manager. Michael Tierney from Borrisoleigh, Decky Maher from Borrisoleigh, and Owen Brislan are on the management team. They got sponsorship lately. OMC Technologies, Paddy Comerford, they're brilliant for them to get that kind of sponsorship. So look, it's the Tipp lads it's very entertaining. It's great to see the stars of the past out for Tipp. And look, the next time they're in Borrisoleigh or wherever they are, if there's people around, it's great to come on and see it.
It certainly is. Gentlemen, thank you again for joining me here in Dundrum.